Okay, so this is pretty simple and to the point. So my title is saying, no, I like my freedom and I can do me without all this drama. And the reason why I had entitled it this way is because I decided that what I was going to go back into is walking and probably walking trails or just walking, just trying to do something different that I haven't done in a while. I used to be regular at it, but I kind of gotten away from it because I was preoccupied with a lot of other things. But I'm going to go back into it again because I think it's time. I had already been pre-planning it in my mind that I was going to go back into doing some things to try to clear my now that my agenda is clear, to try to clear my mind and for like self cleansing sort of. But no, I noticed that some people are just really, really weak and they kind of have to have somebody around all the time. And I'm not like that. I usually like to be to myself and I don't want to have anybody around, except my immediate family members that I am with. I really don't like relationships. No, it sounds unusual. Yes, I'm African American. I don't like having boyfriends and hooked up in marriage. I don't like any of that. I think it's really time consuming, it's stressful, and you pretty much are being told what to do. And you have to entertain that other person's needs. And it's like taking care of another baby. And, my baby taking care of days are over with. I'm past that point. I know some older women are still having children, but I actually I'm not capable of doing that anymore. I made sure of that because I just don't want that anymore. I just want my life, to be, I've done the baby thing. I've done all of that, the relationship thing in my past. I've done that. I don't want that anymore. Um, I just want my freedom to, move about and do things and be happy on my own. I don't need someone to make me happy. And I feel like that's the problem with people. They need someone to be in their face all the time. And I don't need that. I get that from work. I can't wait to get away from people there. So why do I need to come home to something like that? I don't want it. And then you got to hear them arguing and complaining about something. And even if they aren't arguing and complaining, they're in your face, they're there, so it's like, don't you have something else to do, so I don't need that kind of drama in my life. And that's the reason why I had entitled it that. I just don't need all that drama. And I think some people, they like the drama. They claim they don't want certain things. They don't want to, they don't want certain things in their life, but they gravitate to the very things they say they don't want. And me, I try to run far away from it and stay away from it. And I try to make every effort to keep it away from me. Um, and I don't know, I've just been, as I've gotten older, I feel more compelled to be on my own. And I get joys out of being, to myself, really. And I don't need. And I heard this woman, I was listening to her video, and she was saying, "Oh, I haven't given up on the brothers," and all this kind of stuff. And her video, well, I didn't get to see the rest of it because I thought it was, I mean, I guess that's what she's into, but it sounded to me like she was into somebody coming into her life, pretty much catering to her every need and paying for everything that she likes. And it seemed like a money voice and some of the things she was saying. And she seemed like she was, I guess, maybe somebody who, I guess has a way of delivering what it is that she wants to say, but it's just, I think her agenda, and everybody has one, was more about somebody catering to her. And I noticed, I guess that's why I put in there, I can do without all the drama. I like my freedom. And it's sort of a little bit in response to what I heard in that video. It's like, I don't need to have somebody around to validate who I am. And I'm serious about that. I mean, some of these people are really thirsty for attention, and they'll do all kinds of things. They want to show their bodies off. They want to show their skills of whatever it is they think they can do or whatever. And some of that, if it's in good taste, may be harmless and well and good. Maybe they're enjoying, what maybe talents they have. But if it's negative, if it's just to get attention in the wrong ways, I don't find that a good way of enhancing a person's self-esteem. The thing is that I think there's a lot of problems with maturity level of some folks. They seem to kind of like not grow, and they're not confident about being by themselves. They're not confident with themselves. And if you have to have somebody around to make you feel confident and make you feel like you're somebody, then something is seriously wrong. You should be happy in your own skin, even if you're not with someone. And I find that a lot of people have, there's a lot of people out there with security issues where they don't feel secure. And there could be an underlying issue deep down on the inside as the cause of that. But, I would have thought that it would have been me to be like that because, I have things that have happened in my life that you would have thought that I would have been always had to have somebody around me. And, but actually it's made me a lot stronger to resist negative people. I've learned over the years that the more you try to please others, that you become unpleased with yourself because you're doing too much for other people and you're not doing enough for yourself. And I think that's what's important. And people don't do enough for themselves to make themselves happy in a positive way. And they concern themselves too much with other people. And, it's enough things going on right now with some of the issues we have in the world, but then to have somebody in your life that makes you miserable is not going to make you happy. And I find that I guess I don't have like a bunch of Black people that I'm around all the time, unless they're at work. And so even though I'm an African American person, I try to do other things with my life, to preoccupy my time. Like I have this scenic, the Smoky Mountain Hill hiking trail. This picture here, and you're like, what is this? How does this pertain to? It's freedom. It's like a way to like release, a way to relax, a way to get out and walk and be me and have the freedom to unwind and not having somebody telling you what to do every second. And I'm not crazy about being involved in relationships. I avoid it like the plague. I mean, if I feel that it's going to be negative, I don't engage in it. I don't even entertain the thought, and this is with anyone. If sometimes I find I get the best satisfaction with being by myself. And that is the truth. And I know some people may say that, may get tired of it, but if you've been in relationships and you've learned lessons from them, and valuable lessons, life lessons that it has taught you, then you realize that you really don't want to get in those type of situations, and you don't want to risk that, wasting a lot of time in your life with someone who's not bringing you any satisfaction of joy to be yourself. You can't be yourself. If I got to pretend to be something that I'm not to please someone else, then it's not going to work. If I got to please this other person all the time, it's not going to work. If I got to do things that are rude and crude and hurt my own self, it's not going to work. If I got to act like I'm somebody that, is a fantasy, it's not going to work. So, and then, I guess the other thing that I find that is a turnoff is the videos that guys have made. And it's not just that, it's deeper than that. I will say that. I'll be honest, I don't find that anybody's serious. And that you have to almost be suspicious about everyone nowadays, because there's so many things going on, politically, and in the world, and then just people are coming out, and you're starting to realize that there's a lot of dangerous people out there who could potentially put you in a situation where you could be a nervous wreck, or you're stressed out, or you could end up getting hurt by them, like seriously hurt. And I just don't want to go through that. I feel like people want validation by being with someone, and I'm opposed to marriage. I really don't want to be married anymore. And I said it, anymore. I was married once and I divorced, and I would never do it again. Never. And I find that it is problematic. And I think that if people are not mature, then they shouldn't do it. And if it's going to be arguing and fighting over dumb stuff, don't do it. If it's, a person is into cheating, you could potentially end up with some kind of disease or something like that. Or, there's a whole host of a list of things that could come out of that are very bad. And I've had friends who have had marriages and ended up divorcing. We're at that age now where, people have already had kids and they've had marriages and had divorces. And I'm not jazzed about it. I'm just being honest. I know there's some people who are enthralled in the whole idea of marriage, but I'm not. I'm one of them that isn't. I'm the contrary. From what you've heard about African American women, the things that's different about me is I don't like religion. I don't, I have not joined any churches. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the gods that people talk about. And these, some of the people that talk about all of this stuff, they have so much drama and so much shit on their plate, you wouldn't believe. And they act like they're so, how would you say, they're so perfect, and they're not. And, I guess I'm turned off by a lot of things. Religion, I think it's too preachy. I think there's a lot of lies. And, from the way I was taught when I grew up, it was like all the characters in the Bible are white. Jesus is white. And, everything you must do is, supposed to be the right thing, follow the 10 commandments. And if you commit any of those sins, then you'll go to hell. And I don't know, I was turned off by it. Even as a kid, I was turned off by it. I would always question, well, how come none of the characters are Black? Where did we come from? So it was just very rude and crude. I actually went to school with all white children when I started out. I actually went to school with kids who predominantly the school that I had attended when I started out, all of the kids were Caucasian. And I went through some problems at a school like that. I mean, I'm not going to say what school, but I was affiliated with that school for a number of years. And then when I came out from that state and then moved, and then I ended up around children who were, African American children, and they weren't any nicer. There were a few that were nice as I got older. They became more friendlier, certain ones. You had to find people who you could connect with, of course. But there were some that weren't very welcoming because they didn't like the way I sounded, because they said I sounded white and I needed to go back to my white world. And I was treated really raw, and I was treated raw by white kids when I was going to the school I was going to. It was the opposite effect. It was more, how come this hand on, I will never forget this girl. She approached me and she told me to pull out my hand, extend my hand towards her. And she said, well, how come this side is white and the other side is dirty? What she was talking about my skin color, and it hurt my feelings really bad. And I remember that. I think I was about like maybe 6 or 7 years old. And, so from either side, there was drama. Kids that were white, they would do things that weren't nice. There were only there was some kids. There was like one girl, and she was Jewish, and we were friends, and she was very nice. She had a birthday party. She didn't want the party to start until I showed up. And so she made everybody wait till I showed up. We were that close of friends. I don't know what happened to her. But after I left that state, and I came out to California, that's when I had the experience with kids that were more looking like me, but their language, the way they talk, the way what they had been exposed to was a lot different than me. And so I was the oddball. I was picked on a lot because I didn't act black enough. And even though, with those experiences, I grew from that. Even as like when I, finally got out of high school and everything, I still noticed the difference with, like reunions, class reunions. I wasn't welcomed like others were because I wasn't doing the same things that others were doing. And I don't think the same way as others do. And, everybody's into coupling up and huddling up, and, and they fight and argue and cuss each other out, but yet they're religious people and they're God-fearing Christians, but they hate each other's guts the next day, and they're fighting and talking about who shot who down the street and all this stuff. And so it's a lot of drama. So I know from those experiences, I kind of grew, I guess I had a lot of different experiences, of course, over the years. I knew what it was like to be in relationships, even to be with people, live with people, and be in a relationship and not be married. I knew what that was like. And, now at the age that I am now, which I'm not really gonna say, I don't know. I thought that people would mature, but believe it or not, young ladies, you think that if guys are older, that they get better and they mature. Sometimes you'll meet guys who are, the older they get, the worse they get. They become worse. And, like I had an incident, and this was at work, where the guy, I don't know if it was a trend or something, but he actually told me he was married, and he thought that I was going to fall for him and become attracted, and we were going to fool around or whatever. And he got totally offended when I turned him down. And ever since then, he just has not liked me because I turned him down. And so he tried to do little manipulative things. Even, I believe, somehow he was able to crank call me as well. He was trying to crank call me. And I haven't been able to trace all of that, but it doesn't happen as regular like it used to in the beginning when I first turned him down. And this guy, I think he had to be in his 50s, late 40s or early 50s, somewhere in there. But he said, "Oh, I'm married," and all the stuff. And then he would, I don't know. I just got a bad feeling all around. I actually thought the person was well put together. And I thought in the beginning, that's how I thought. I was seriously wrong about that one. I'm kind of glad that they revealed themselves in a way, but I was never interested in this person anyway, like that. I thought they were just going to be a nice friend, not somebody to mess around with. And I don't know. I guess you can't be friends with guys. You can't be friends with guys. There's only one guy that I was able to be friends with, and that person died. And yeah, that person was white. He actually was more like a brother to me. But I don't know. I just not been able to connect with anyone else. I guess because people are not, I've not seen anybody that's serious about life, about seriousness, thinks the way I think or whatever, or thinks similar the way I think. Everybody's about games and getting over on women and stuff and sex and drama and all of that kind of stuff and a bunch of drama. And I just don't want to be involved. And so those are my serious thoughts that I'm putting out there. I just like, I love, relaxing and not having a lot of issues with people. I noticed too, even with women, women like other black women, some are okay and others, they come at you with this religion bull crap and I know they don't follow it. They don't follow it. I can tell because one minute they're talking about who they're going to beat up or who they want to hurt. And then the next minute they're this God-fearing Christian. And so I don't follow any of that. I don't even want to be bothered with people like that. And then they're saying hateful things. And then they can't wait to argue with you online. Or they're threatening you. And so we can't get along. We can't. People, if you're hearing this from other cultures and backgrounds within the Black culture, if you're different, somebody has a problem with that. If you have a difference of opinion and you don't agree with everyone straight across the board, they got a problem with it. They don't like you, so they ostracize you, even if you're from the same, you're from the same, you look like them. But actually, I always say that I'm not from the same culture, actually. I am an African-American person or Black person, but my thinking and my thought process and my reasoning is a whole lot together different than others. We don't, just because we look the same to others, we don't all share the same opinions and beliefs. And so I guess that's, what I'm trying to say. And I heard this woman, like I said, sometimes I listen to people's videos. This woman, she was talking about, seemed like to me that the people are they want to be hooked up with people. I don't want to be hooked up with anybody, especially if it's a game to me. I find it's a game. Like there's this guy, like when I'm at work, all they talk about, this is a red flag to me. When a guy is always saying my ex, or all these exes, all these other women, how many women have you slept with? That's the first thing that pops into my. I don't even think that he even realizes what he's saying. That's a turnoff. It's like, do you say this to other women that you potentially wanting to get involved with? Then he made it a point to say that one of the women he was with was Black. So it made me feel like he was trying to come on to me mildly, like he was trying to let me know that I'm okay with being involved with black women. that's that's the way it came off to me. But I mean, I'm just something I'm up with. That's what I'm thinking. I haven't slept. I can count how many people I've slept with in a number of years. What? Let me see. One, two, three, four, five. I think it's been like maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and I have not slept with anyone. I don't lay around like that. I don't want germs. And I'm serious about that. I don't want germs. I don't want AIDS. I don't want HIV. I don't want to be involved all the drama and baby mama and all this and fighting and all that and people all up in the business and talking about how religious they are and then tomorrow they're ready to kill you. No, I'm just not that kind of person. And then they're on there talking about how intelligent they are, yet they have a plot to try to do you in, you know. And so that's probably why I stay away. And it's not just black folks. I had some experience with people who aren't black who do stuff. So I think it's it's just anybody you could have these experiences with if they're those type of people. And so that's why, I really don't get involved anymore. I find that I get the greatest joy with being single, being by myself, and away from all the craziness. I feel like religion is crazy. Religious people who don't follow religion do crazy shit and they lie a lot. Some of your biggest liars are Christians, so-called Christians. I'll say that. I've seen a lot of people who claim they're, religious and they'll quote scriptures. They've learned certain things, and those are the only scriptures they know, and they use those, and then they use them as weapons against people who are innocent, who haven't done anything to them, or they feel somebody's done something if they don't believe in religion, or if you say you're atheist, or if you don't want to attach yourself to the craziness that they follow. And, all this Yahweh bullshit, I'm sorry. I just can't. I'm not on those pages. So if you don't like me because I don't follow your bullshit, sorry, Charlie, that ain't me. And I'm not afraid to be honest and say that. There's a lot of people who've got some serious issues. Now, I'll say this: if you're really a person trying to do the right things, you don't need to hurt others. You don't, that's not proving you're a good person. It's proving actually who you really are. You're not a good person, and so I just don't understand that logic from some people. I also see there's some vile, vicious videos with people who all they want to do is just fight with other black women. They're black women and they want to fight other black women. There are some people who have some certain issues where they make it seem like it's only in the black community that stuff happens. Stuff doesn't just happen in the black community. It happens also in other people's cultures, other communities too. I've seen similar things. It may be done a different way, but like they made it seem like some of the videos black people were putting out, they made it seem like there were black women who were by themselves with babies. I've been seeing that in the Latino culture. I've been seeing a lot of that. Women who they've got all these babies and all the babies got different daddies. This is the Latino culture. I've seen that. I've seen that in the white culture as well. I've seen it a lot more in the South, where there are these white women who date black guys and they put up with some of the same crap that black women have put up with from these baby daddies. Baby daddy. And the baby daddy is black and she's a white girl. And I've seen that there's some kind of trend or something going on out there. In the South, I've seen white women that are with black guys and they got these biracial kids. And the guy, he's a drug dealer or he sits at home, and the woman, she goes out and she works and she takes care of him and the baby. I've seen that. My mom, actually, before she had passed away, she was telling me about some of the people that lived around her, and I actually saw them and I saw what she was talking about. And it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. So I've seen it. So it happens in other cultures. I've seen where some white women, they're left, they leave them with the babies. The black baby daddy, he leaves the white woman too, you know. She's stuck. I've seen it in the Latin culture. I knew somebody who he did that to his baby mama, his baby. He would treat her horribly, horribly, cuss her out, threaten her, fight her, and had the cutest little son. Little boy was so cute, but he was so bad. He was cute, but he was just, the baby daddy was a hot freaking mess. Black guy, he had a Mexican girlfriend. She would always fuss at him. You know, how come you don't help me buy the baby Pampers, blah, blah, blah. And this was in the 90s. And so I remember a lot of stuff. I've had a lot of experience, you know, with life lessons. I've seen a lot of things. Stuff that doesn't happen in one community. So anyway, I felt like I would share this. This is one of those like videos, I guess what they say, where you ran a little bit, but not really ranting, but sort of, yeah, kind of, but I'm just really being straightforward. You know, I've seen women who do bad things, you know, it's not just guys, you know, I've seen women do stuff. You know, so I think it just depends on the individuals, really. You know, now there is a lot of race stuff going on. There's a lot of political issues, a lot of things going on, a lot of discrimination, a lot of stuff really that is happening. I'm not to take away from that, but what I'm saying is as though sometimes things seem like it's isolated to just one community, it really isn't. When you really have enough experience where you go outside of your community or your safe zone or where you feel comfortable, and you take a look into the lives of other people and you find out this ain't much better than it's not as good as we thought it was. So anyway, with that being said, my whole regimen for this coming summer is to walk a little more, try to breathe a little more, and try to exercise a little more, you know, mildly, just to try to get out and, you know, get some relaxation and stretch my muscles, I guess, and breathe. You know, I like that, you know, a lot. Um, so with that being said, I did make a video. I was not that long ago on the USC campus, and I was doing some of my exercising there. And I probably will do exercising in different places, so it won't just be, you know, at USC. It'll be at other places. So it'll be random places, and I'll probably go and sightsee a little bit, you know, while I have time to do so. But anyway, with that being said, I am going to cut this video to a close, and hopefully my other video that I did at USC is complete because it was uploaded. I uploaded it as I was, you know, working out. And so this concludes this video. Thank you. Bye for now.